Krishna, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for coming. We'll just sing Jai Radha Madhava and then speak about Isopanisad tonight. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gyanatimrandasya Gyananjana Shalaka Chakshurandritam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvichesha Shunyavari Pashtati Desha Tarane. Just a moment. Would you like to come a little bit closer to here, if that's possible? That's nice. Much better. So we are reading from Isopanisad. This is a wonderful book. It's a book that is studied in Vaishnava education in our tradition, and it's studied along with Bhagavad Gita, nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion. And Isopanisad means that we come closer to the spiritual master at his lotus feet and take shelter by hearing him. So Srila Prabhupada also says in this introduction that it can release us from the bleak conceptions of impersonalism and put us in touch with the Supreme Person, the fountainhead of all energies and all happiness. And it's got 19 mantras. Actually, the last mantra is number 18, but there's also an invocation prayer, so that makes it 19. By the way, can you hear me all right? Yes. Microphone okay? Okay, so we'll chant the Sanskrit and then go on to read the translation and commentaries. There is Sanskrit translation and commentaries by Srila Prabhupada. I made some notes there. Okay. Does anyone has anyone read Sri Isopanisad before? All the mantras, all the 19? Raise your hand. Maybe a couple of them? One? Nice. First one. Om Purnam, yeah. Okay.
Everybody knows that.
Okay, so Mantra-7. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atma eva bhut vijanata tatra ko mahakakshoka ekatvam anupashyataha. Translation. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? And purport. This is Srila Prabhupada's commentary. So we read that too. Except for the Madhyamadikari and Uttamadikari discussed above, this was mentioned in the previous mantra, mantra number 6, discussing different levels or stages of practitioners of Bhakti. There's 3, Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. So Kanishta is a beginner practitioner, Madhyama is in the middle, Uttama is the highest. It's like a mango, the hard mango in between, and really ripe one, and juicy mango, like that. So, except for Madhyamadikari and Uttamadikari discussed above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of a living being. The living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of a fire are qualitatively one with the fire. Yet sparks are not fire as far as quantity is concerned, for the quantity of heat and light present in the sparks is not equal to that in fire. The Mahabhagavat, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord. So this is the vision of a Mahabhagavat. He sees that this material paraphernalia, everything in this material world, it's called Bina Prakriti in Bhagavad Gita. All the material elements, actually, he uses them in service to the Supreme Lord. An example is often given by Srila Prabhupada. This microphone, we could be speaking so many nonsense things, but we're speaking about Krishna. So that's one example. Also in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 7th canto, example of trees. Manufacturers cut trees and they make paper out of them. And they can create so many magazines and books which could be not so helpful, not so spiritual, But also we can use that for printing Sri Isopanisad. For example, this was printed in China, I believe in 2022. This is the latest print. Yeah, it's in 2022. The first one was in 1969. But so if we use trees for the purpose of producing Isopanisad or books like Bhagavad Gita, that's actually a yagya that can purify everyone who's participating in that activity. Okay. Since there's no difference between the energy and the energetic, there's the sense of oneness. Although from the analytical point of view, heat and light are different from fire, there's no meaning to the word fire. Without heat and light, in synthesis, therefore, heat, light, and fire are the same. In this mantra, the words ekatvam anupashyataha indicate that one should see the unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of the revealed scriptures. The individual sparks of the Supreme Whole, the Lord, possesses almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not quantitatively equal to the Supreme Lord. These qualities are present in minute quantity, for the living entity is but a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. To use another example, the quantity of salt present in a drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in a complete ocean, but the salt present in the drop is qualitatively equal in chemical composition to all the salt present in the ocean. So this is a similar we see that a drop of salt and the ocean of salt, there is it's salty anyway, tastes the same, but of course the quantity is different, you know. So that's an example. And also it's mentioning here how the Lord possesses all the qualities, the 64 qualities that Krishna has. And if you look at, for example, Vishnu Tattva, there is 94. And Shiva Tattva, there's 84. And living entities, the jivas, they can develop 70% of the qualities of 100% of the Lord. Krishna has 4 specific qualities that no one else has. Does anyone know what they are? Those are very important things for the Vaishnavas to know. Krishna has this first quality is that he is able to manifest wonderful pastimes. No one else can manifest those pastimes. For example, the birth of Krishna, I mean, he was born in prison. And he was actually not born as a regular child, you know. At first he came to the heart of Vasudeva and then into the heart of Devaki, you know. And when he came, all the demigods, they gathered together and they offered beautiful, beautiful prayers. Like that. There's also different pastimes related to Krishna killing the demons, you know. There's a kingdom of, demonic kingdom in our heart, unfortunately. So Krishna can take all this anarthas, all these unwanted things, all these obstacles away from us and kill them just like he kills the demons in Vrindavan. Just like he killed Putana, you know, Seruguru, or when he was killing Agasura, you know, example of cruelty and violence. Or when Lord Indra, he didn't kill Lord Indra, when he was trying to stop this sacrifice of Govardhan hill. That example teaches us that Krishna can take away this prideful mentality and idea of that worshipping demigods is superior, is higher than worshipping Krishna, like that. And so I'll mention there's 3 more. He is expert at transcendental flute playing. He is the best at playing flute. Very attractive. And also he's surrounded by loving devotees. When Krishna comes to this material world, for example, he doesn't come alone. And the recent incarnation of Krishna, who was it? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, he came as Vishwambar. And actually when he came, there's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a tree of Bhakti, you know, desire tree of Bhakti. And the 2 main branches are his eternal associates, Advaita and Nityananda, like that. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes, he always comes with Balaram or Nityananda, you know. He comes with Advaita Acharya, he came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srivas Thakur. Many, many different devotees came along with him, like that. The 4th quality that no one else has but Krishna is he possesses unparalleled personal beauty. How much beauty Krishna has, most beautiful personality, you know. Rupa Goswami was saying, it was a famous saying that he had. He was saying, when I chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, I want to have millions of mouths and millions of ears. How can I just chant with my own, only one mouth that I have? You know, I need more and more, because that's the sweetness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we can also feel it sometimes, or maybe all the time. So, let's continue. If the individual living being were equal to the Supreme Lord, both qualitatively and quantitatively, there would be no question of his being under the influence of the material energy. Does anyone know what does it feel like to be under the influence of material energy? It's pretty intense, right? Actually, in previous mantras, it is described. What does it feel like to be under the influence of material energy? So, for example, mantra 3 says, "The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance." So, Atmaha, the killer of the soul, enters into the planets like that. And in the commentaries, it is explained that the asuras, they trying to show their strength. And how do they do that? By deception, by trying to cheat, by trying to acquire more than the quota, you know. Ishavasyadam sarvam. Be satisfied with what you have from Krishna. So that's asuras. They completely deny existence of God. They don't have knowledge of self-realization. And they're trying to just exploit. This is a possessive mentality. Isopanisad teaches us how to become free from the possessive mentality. That's why we have so many conflicts, because we have this possessive mentality over things, land, money, like that. But Isopanisad teaches us how to get free from it. And also in its second mantra, it's been mentioned how we are eternal beings, but due to this karma, due to karma and material desires, we experience karma bandhana, material bondage. And that happens because we misuse our free will. There's three understanding of three types of karma: karma, vikarma, and akarma. Karma means I act in accordance with the shastra, but I'm trying to satisfy my own personal desires. Then we have vikarma. Vikarma means that I perform vicious activities, sinful activities. I disregard the scripture. This is the asura bhava, and I act as a demon. And then we have akarma. Akarma means there's not everything that I do for the pleasure of Krishna solely. Nothing else is my interest. Okay. So we are in this material bondage because actually Srila Prabhupada says no one has to do anything more than render devotional service to the Lord in this life. If we just do that, we're completely happy, completely satisfied. Tushyanti charamanti cha, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, we're completely satisfied. There's nothing else that we need. But we, of course, disagree with that statement. That's why we experience material bondage. Okay, let's get back here. Okay. In the previous mantras, it has already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the Supreme Being in any respect. Therefore, ekatvam does not mean that a living being is equal in all respects to the Supreme Lord. It does, however, indicate that in a broader sense there is one interest. Just in a family, the interest of all members is one, or in a nation, the national interest is one, although there are many different individual citizens. Since the living entities are all members of the same Supreme Family, their interest and that of the Supreme Being are not different. Every living being is the son of the Supreme Being, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.5. All living creatures throughout the universe, including birds, reptiles, ants, aquatics, trees, and so on, are emanations of the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all of them belong to the family of the Supreme Being. There's no clash of interest. But, like I mentioned earlier, we have possessive mentality, so there's always a clash of interest. There's always competition for supremacy. The spiritual entities are meant for enjoyment, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, very famous sutra, Anandamaya Bhyasat. Does anyone know what Anandamaya Bhyasat means? What does that mean? Our nature, just like in the previous chapter, is we always seek an enjoyment, you know. Our Satchitananda, yeah, we have an eternal body consisting of knowledge and bliss. So it says here, by nature and constitution, every living being, including the Supreme Lord, in each of his parts and parcels, is meant for eternal enjoyment. But what does that mean, eternal enjoyment? It's an interesting phrase. Huh? Eternal enjoyment. Something very difficult to understand. How can we experience eternal enjoyment? Especially being in this material body. Krishna says that we just, as we grow older, then we change the body, we don't feel eternal enjoyment. We feel pains and miseries. The living beings who are engaged in the material tabernacle are constantly seeking enjoyment, but they are seeking it in the wrong platform. Apart from the material platform is the spiritual platform, where the Supreme Being enjoys himself with his innumerable associates. On that platform there is no trace of material qualities, and therefore that platform is called nirguna. Nirguna means without qualities, or without form. For example, there's many religious traditions who say that God has no form, and we agree to that, actually. God has no material form. He has a spiritual form. When he comes to the material world, he doesn't have a material body, but it is a spiritual body, like that. So that's the proper understanding of nirguna. On the nirguna platform, there's never a clash over the object of enjoyment. Here in the material world, there's always a clash between different individual beings, because here, the proper center of enjoyment is missed. The real center of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, who is the center of the sublime and spiritual rasa dance. So when Krishna comes or manifests this material creation, aham sarvasya prabhavo, he manifests this external energy in such a way that it's compared to electricity. There's Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Yogamaya is doing the functions in the spiritual world, and Mahamaya is doing the function in the material world. Just like electricity, sometimes it can heat up the water, or fan, for example, or make it cold. There's different qualities that it can take upon. So similarly, also Krishna. But then ultimately, when we go back to Krishna, our relationship manifested through rasa, this particular mellow with him, with Krishna. So we're all meant to join him and enjoy life with one transcendental interest and without any clash. That is the highest platform of spiritual interest. And as soon as one realizes this perfect form of oneness, there can be no question of illusion, moha, or lamentation, shoka. So this world is created in such a way that we put our interest first before Krishna. That's why we live in illusion, moha. And then when we live in illusion, what do we experience? We experience lamentation. We experience shoka. But this mantra says that one who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So when someone understands the purpose and sum and substance of Sri Isopanisad, he understands that, yeah, for devotees there's no moha, there's no shoka, there's no lobha, there's no kama, like that. And I'll conclude with this. There's a little bit more to the purport, but I just want to make sure there's at least opportunity for one question. One point is mentioned in the paragraph before the last one is Atma Bhuta and Brahma Bhuta. It says the Atma Bhuta, Bhuta means nature, Atma means the soul, and Brahma Bhuta, Brahman realization. So the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned in this mantra and the Brahma Bhuta interest mentioned in this Bhagavad Gita 1854 are one and the same. And how do we understand this? We understand this very simply, like that. Sometimes we think that we should become, we should merge into the Brahman, we should, or become Brahman, like that. But no, we should serve the Supreme Brahman. That's our actual position of a living entity. Krishna, Nitya, how does it go? Nitya, Krishna, eternal servant, Skip my mind. So anyway, Supreme Lord wants to derive pleasure out of their affection. And when we situate ourselves in this position, exactly what happens is we become free from illusion, lamentation, or miseries. So we'll conclude here. This is quite a short class, but I'd like to leave some time aside for maybe 1, 2 questions if you have one, or maybe comments, additions to something I have said. Hare Krishna.
You had mentioned about the true devotee's quality where he looks on everyone as Krishna's version of Krishna. So could you elaborate a little bit more on that? There are devotees and there are some people who don't believe in God altogether. So is a devotee supposed to look at a non-devotee or an atheist as someone who's also doing Krishna's work, or how, could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So yeah, it's true that we should be friendly to everyone, just like Krishna is our dearest friend, is in the heart of all living entities. And there's this understanding of kshetragya, this Atma is situated in this body, and Paramatma is also situated in everyone's body. But the difference is that I'm only situated, the Atma, the soul within my body is only situated in this field of activities, this particular material form. But Paramatma is situated everywhere. So just for the sake of respecting the Paramatma, this is the least thing we can think of as devotees, we offer, of course, at least in the mind, respect to all living entities. And we also act in such a way that we try to be compassionate and extend the mercy of Krishna, mercy of Guru, Shastra, like that. We don't want to develop ahankar, false ego, by just bottling it all down and enjoying it. You know, I understand the Shastra. It's, you know, I'm a great learned person. But the real compassion, the Vaishnava culture, is that you extend, you give it to other people. So when you go, you can tell people, actually, you're not the body. Of course, respectfully. The austerity of speech explained in the Bhagavad Gita is that we speak the words that are truthful, but at the same time they are pleasant to hear. They're not agitating to others.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Could you elaborate how can we better serve Krishna in our daily life? I mean, I know the basics and the obvious, but maybe more elaboration of ideas of how we can better serve Krishna, like every day.
Yeah.
I don't know, going to work, or you know, just in the practical things.
So, Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.1, he says, "Tachrinu." He says, "Just hear about me." Just hear about me. Just hear about me. Hear from devotees. When we come and hear Bhagavatam classes, for example, like this, like when we come here, Sri Isopanisad, what happens is Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. So we're speaking, we're hearing, and then we will remember something and meditate on it at the end of the day, tomorrow, at some time during the week. So when I hear Krishna Katha, I remember, I meditate on Krishna, and it helps me to be more Krishna conscious the more I hear. And then when I read by myself, individually, when I have no company, for example, but I do it personally, as a sadhaka, you know, svadhyaya, I practice study of the scripture. What happens is that maybe I'm not speaking, I'm not hearing, if I'm reading in my mind, like that, but I'm remembering, I'm meditating, smarana, meditating on it. So that also can come and leave a certain samskar, impression in our mind. So the more we do of these things, the more we satisfy Krishna. And one of my favorite verses in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Satatam, Satatam kirtayantamam, yatanta shadridavrata. Just 1 second. He says that if we just come together and Satatam kirtayantamam, yatanta shadridavrata, namasan chastama bhaktya, nitya-yukta upasate. Nitya-yukta upasate means that we worship Krishna in devotion. We perpetually engaged. We don't just do it once and forget about the next day. No, perpetually, always, like that. Unbroken service. And we glorify Krishna, we chant His name, we also speak His glories. Even in a simple way, we can say to someone, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the bestower of all benedictions and enjoyer of all sacrifices. We can say it to someone, that's already a service. We're glorifying Krishna. And yatanta shadridavata, we do it with determination, knowing that we'll succeed. I have assurance of that. And we get assurance from Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and other devotees. And the last thing is namasyan tashtamam bhaktya. It's a very interesting thing. I'm still not understanding this, but namasyan tashtamam bhaktya, offering respects with bhakti. Offering respects to Krishna on the altar when we offer obeisances with bhakti. I can bow down, but do I have bhakti? What am I thinking about when I offer respects? When we offer respects, we should be meditating on this pranam, this offer, we're meditating on the pranam mantra, for example, of Srila Prabhupada. And also we're meditating when we bow down, dandavat, right? Like a stick. We're meditating in the mind that we're touching the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada or Krishna. And we do it with sincerity, with bhakti. So those things, if we do, it can definitely 100% help us in remembering Krishna and becoming more Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna, thank you for your attention. And I want to read one text while we're preparing, because I knew we're going to chant. It's a nice meditation. There's this practice of yojana in our life, meaning that yojana translates as alignment of three things when we chant japa. First thing is the body, then we align the mind and the heart. And the body should be in a way it should be straight, so we're not too relaxed, And mind means that we should know, we should prepare. We're going to be here in japa, the holy name. We should be thinking of the past, the future. Just concentrate on hearing, chanting and hearing. And the heart means that I do it in the proper mood, proper state of consciousness. And to enter in that proper state of consciousness, I'll just read a very short text and then we begin japa. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a text, it says, one is immediately freed from the clutches of Maya if he seriously and sincerely says. So this is what we should be thinking when we chant japa today, if we can. We can try, of course, it's up to you. My dear Lord Krishna, although I have forgotten you for so many long years in the material world, today I am surrendering unto you. I am your sincere and serious servant. Please engage me in your service. So we can try to chant, keeping that state of mind.